These guys represented the excitement before the Young Rascals, before any one of the psychedelic groups became very, very big, before underground. These guys were underground and were, without a doubt, the most exciting group that you would ever see. The two brothers are the original guys, and of course, Kenny Jeremiah, you can be doing some things with them. Would you put your hands together and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Soul Survivors. Charlie Ritchie. My man. I love that mustache. Well, I guess you can do it up here. You want to do it up here?
Do it on the floor, Rich.
You got it up front?
Charlie, do it on the floor.
You want to do it on the floor? Whatever you guys want.
Rock this place.
We like to do it on the floor, you know what I mean?
That's because you're from New York. Anybody here from New York City? These guys represent New York City on the floor.
On the floor.
I love the outfits. I do. I swear I pay for the outfits. I pay for everything. Trust me. Everything else, that's whatever. But these guys really represent. That's what they said. They represent. Where's the check? Bring the appointment. Where's the check? But what they represent is the true excitement of. Really think about that. You guys created a sound that nobody else created. Really, at that time. I mean, I'm trying to figure what happened.
You know what happened.
No, but it's an amazing thing. Wherever these guys go, they create the same excitement that they did back in '65. And I go back with these guys when they were the hottest lounge club act in Philadelphia at that time. And the original members was Kenny, was you, who else? The Chuck Troys.
Chuck Troy, Still Forgione,
Right.
Paul Venturini, Tony Saliba.
But you know,
What a group.
let me ask you this question. What kind of experiences were for you guys from New York City? You go back to the Peppermint Lounge and all those places. What were your impressions when you came into Philadelphia?
I love Philadelphia, never left.
But how did you compare it with New York? I mean, tell me about
I'll tell you, well, Rich and I grew up on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. To see a tree, I had to go to Washington Square, on the West Side. I came to Philly, I saw trees right there in Center City. I said, I think I'm gonna live
it.
here.
This is where I went, and then 13th Street, right?
13th Street. But you see, the thing was, Jerry, and you know it, on 13th Street was a club called Living Room. And the living room was a mecca.
Tony
Crow's place and Sam Addy. And it was a mecca. I mean, everybody came there from every neighborhood in Philly. They came to see us. It was a great experience.
But I got to tell you about 13th and Lucas. There was a guy called Frank Palumbo. Do you remember Frank Palumbo? There were 5 clubs at 13th and Lucas, all connected. Frank Palumbo owned all of those clubs and had one liquor license. And you know how he did it? He built a door underneath from one club to another club to another club. So there was one liquor license for 5 different clubs back then.
And what did he say at closing time? Zuzu time!
So that's it. That was it. It's like going to Memories of Margate. Last call for alcohol. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I present you the magnificent Soul Survivors.
Come on, Charlie.
I'm going to Chicago. That land with my baby. Yeah. I'm packing up
See if we can.
Yeah, this next tune, you know this song, it's a Temptation song. Oh, this heart of mine, carries a heavy load, and I think about how I hurt you so. After you've been so good to me, I've been unfaithful, darling, and it causing misery. Feel like guilt, oh, Georgia, please, I'll leave you, my darling. I can say you darling, all I need is just to hear you say you forgive me, baby. All I need to have you touch my hand, say you understand. I'm all that I witness, darling, cut me astray. Look just at me, baby, I threw away. Now look into your eyes, I can see the hurt, baby, that you feel inside. Although I hurt you, baby, you never once complained. It makes me feel sweet, darling, that makes no shame. Tears of guilt run down my face. Tears that only you make, only you can rest. And darling, all I need is just to hear you say you forgive me, baby. All I need to have you touch my hand, say you understand. I know I made a big mistake with all your love, darling. Yes, I did forsake. It's on my mind, it's in my heart, and this guilty feeling tearing me apart. Just to hear you say you forgive me, baby. All I need to have you touch my hand, say you understand. Baby, all I need is just to hear you say you forgive me, baby.
Forgive me, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, the Salsa Winners.
Thank you very much.
Listen, how many years you guys been doing this thing?
Over 40. This year is the 40th anniversary of this next song that we're going to do.
It's amazing. You realize that Danny and the Juniors have been doing it for 50 years.
They're old guys, though.
Well, listen, forget all people. Forget it. Look at why you on that. But the amazing thing is the Orlons have been doing it for 50 years.
I love the Orlons.
Frankie Avalon has been doing it for 50 years.
Yes.
Big I've been doing it for 102 years. A long life, a long time. But the wonderful thing is that all of these groups here bring happiness to people. Do you agree on that, ladies and gentlemen? And that's the difference between show business yesterday and show business today. It's really sad that these young people today don't really understand that the most important thing is the public. They make one record, they make a video, they go on MTV, they become big stars, they don't perfect their trade. The next thing you know, they're finooed. These guys began as kids, and every one of these performers worked the circuit. You learn from other performers by watching other performers work. You perfected your trade. You perfected what your act was from other people that came along before you. And that's why these guys are the best. You're idols back then. Tell me some of the groups that you really like. I mean, I know.
Well, you know, Jeremy, we grew up with bigger than every other New York group at the time.
When they were with Joey D and the Starlights.
That's right, Beverly Miles.
Right? It's
Meet
amazing.
me, baby, at 45th Street. And what was next door? What was next door?
Where?
A wagon wheel.
Wagon, wait, how about Hector's? You remember Hector's
Of course.
cafeteria?
It's right across the street from the New York Pound.
Exactly. I love Hector's. Hector's was a cafeteria, but in the back they had the bar. And in those days in New York City, you were able to drink at 18.
18.
So I used to travel up to New York City at 17 because I was a bad boy. And I used to lie about my age. I used to drink. But in those days, you had older people that watched over you. And if you stepped out of line, you got a crack. Today, the big problem is that there's nobody watching over these young kids.